Hi, everybody. We're back from a extended break. Thank you for your patience. We are playing Materia D&D, where we play D&D our way, and this is part two of session 190,
One.
191, excuse me, where the Crass Menagerie have just worked together to figure out a possible way for them to use the tears in the Chaos Realms version of reality that Benatar is able to see to allow them to potentially plane shift out of where they are, likely the realm of chaos, and hopefully get them back within the material plane proper, hopefully somewhere on materia, using uh, Allegretto's sigil glyphs that coordinate with the Horde of Stars, the hidden group of lizard folk within Whitlaw. They're hoping that this will allow Ben to navigate them through the complexity of plane shifting to get them in that location. Uh, there has been some other things going on, but to keep it brief, the last thing my players knew is Al and Ben were the two that were holding on to Rock's body, who his essence seems to be tethered but disassociated with it. And as Ben was casting the spell, and both of them had their hands on Rock, they both felt a zing. They both had some of their essence pulled from there. And in the last moments before casting the spell, Ben saw the tethered form of Rock fling back into his body, and then the spaghettification process began. They felt, all of them, Menagerie, felt themselves being pulled and stretched infinitely as they've experienced this once before, going through the uh, the wormhole, the little black void space to find Al and Loon Loon, but now they feel it again in this moment that feels either, well, not either, simultaneously like an instant and an eternity. The Menagerie come to blinking, but before, when they do, they start looking, and Al, um, you find yourself in what, Al, what was your room like growing up when you were still a child?
Stone view.
What was that?
I'd say stone floors,
Mm-hmm.
stone, lots of bookshelves, few books.
Okay.
Um,
Your mic sounds different. I'm not sure if you changed something.
Yeah, be different.
I'm on mobile.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
I like it. Okay, so stone here, lots of bookshelves. We'll focus on that. So as you kind of come to in this familiar space, you look at the bookshelves and there's all manner of books. Um, but there's one book in particular that stands out. It's the only book on a shelf, and it's in the middle, and it's standing. Well, it's not standing. It's, when I say standing, sorry, it's laying there by itself, and it's the only bookshelf, only book on the bookshelf. Catches your attention. Do you want to? Do you feel want to look around? Are you interested in the book? What's there for you in this space?
Hmm. Again, back to the mic.
Yay.
Cool. Nice.
I'd also imagine like writing desk, a
Hmm.
fine bed, but the book
Okay.
definitely catches my eye. I'd hesitantly move towards that and try to grab it.
Yeah. As you go to grab it, You grab it and you look at the spine. At first, you can't really make out what it says. It's, what they say, like when you're dreaming, sometimes if you lucid dream, you can catch yourself because none of the numbers and the letters and the words make sense. It's just um, a fabrication of reality. And then you kind of blink and you squint and then you see just the word mangler on the book. When you look and you kind of grab it by the spine and turn it, you look at the cover, you see very simply pressed into it the design very similar to the mask that you keep adorned to your burly belt. And as you look at it, you start to see the mask begin to kind of peel up and almost get like a 3D shape and pull itself away from the book cover. What do you do?
Uh, ooh, he's been. No, I was gonna say he's been friendly up to this point, but I think I was always out when he appears. I don't know how much of a connection Al actually
That's true.
has, or is knowledgeable
Mm-hmm,
of that.
mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think Al would be open to it. I think keep the book open with one hand, kind of outstretch his arm at least. But with his other hand, he kind of pat himself to see like, do I not have the mask right now? Maybe take a quick
You
look at who he is.
yeah, you take a pat and you have the mask there, but the mask is emerging from the book itself. And as you look, the mask starts to get more of a form, less, a mask like, but more textured and more fleshy. And if you allow it, at some point, you're stretching your arm out, and there's not enough space for you, so you drop the book
Mhm.
and the hulking 10-foot tall, somewhat spectral form of this acquaintance of yours that you've never properly met stands before you, just looking, burning beads of eyes where, it's strange because it seems calm in your presence, but those eyes just burn of hatred and burn of, well, seeking vengeance to the best of your understanding.
Initially,
Motion.
as the oh, go on.
It's motionless before you, just staring.
I have my one hand on the mask on my belt, as if I'm gonna draw it like a weapon, and I kind of ease up after a few seconds. Um, I'll slowly reach out a hand, kind of palm upwards to the. Is it the mangler proper, or is it a mask in
As
front
far
of
as
me?
you understand, it looks like it's the form of the mangler.
Mm, okay. Um, yeah, I'll slowly reach out a hand, kind of palm up towards him.
Okay. So as you do, he, uh, with his massive glaive, kind of gives it a flourish and dabs it into this stone of your room, finding purchase, and is it standing, and with that same hand mimics your gesture, and his massive palm basically swallows your hand. Like your fingers, kind of where your fingers end is like where his fingers begin on his palm, if that makes sense.
Mm, yeah.
So, and you just hear him, now that you're a little bit focused, you just hear him breathing. Not, not labored, not in any way, but just breathing. Well, what would you like to do?
Um, ooh, spot on with the GIF. Um, yeah, if I'm able to see that desire for vengeance in his eyes, I'd probably start asking about that. Um, kind of look at the hand, our hands for a second. Look up at him. You want something? Can I help you accomplish that? Is it a person or a thing? Did you crave vengeance for?
He stares at you. Give me an insight check.
Not one. Total of
That
4.
one. Um, with that, he I don't know if you've ever seen this, but sometimes you'll see these like freaky works of art where someone's hand grasps around yours, and then when you spin it, it's like their hand opens up in front of yours again. Kind of like an
Mm.
infinite kind of hand grab. You feel that. He clenches his massive hand curling over yours, and then as you try to pull away, you turn your hand, and then you just see his hand again wrapping over your hand again. And as you keep pulling, his hand keeps wrapping and wrapping. And you try to pull and you can't, and he's just staring at you, breathing. Can I get a charisma saving throw?
Hmm.
Can I get a witness?
And
Yeah, 16 for that. Can I utter something to him?
yeah, go ahead. For sure.
You've you've been helping me. I'm just looking for a way to help you back.
And he, as you say that, he um begins to reach up with his other hand on the mask, and he doesn't take it all the way off. He just kind of slides it a little bit off to the side, and you see the mask almost represents what he looks like. Actually, trying to find the token so I can here, at least in roll 20. There it is. So let me drop it. Yeah, it did. Okay, cool. We're not in chaos space, I know, but hey, do that. You know,
Oh yeah.
the solid red, begins, but he has got this traditional, more like Oni teeth, where the two sets of fangs extend, and he looks at you. And as he pulls it away, you see that that visage begins to smoke away, very similar to how like when you use your
Disguise.
illusionary, yeah, disguise self, and it looks like you, only a little bit exaggerated, and your teeth are elongated, like the fangs matching the uni. And he just nods, and then with his other hand, he just plunges it deep into your belly, and you feel this squeeze, and you let out a gasp, and then you wake up, and we'll come back to you.
Ooh. Okay.
Uh, Ben. Oh, actually, Al. We'll
Mhm.
need one other thing from you before I forget. Did you
Yeah.
decide on what you're taking?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Do you wish to share it with the group or just with me right now?
I'll go and share with the group.
Okay.
Get the official kind of thing. I'm going for the from College of Glamour. I'm gonna go for Mantle of Inspiration.
Nice.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Cool. 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 Good. You are now able to officially add that to your thing, to your sheet.
Thank you.
And it's literally
Mm,
just dragging it on there.
You know,
Perfect.
because Danny did awesome stuff.
I mean,
All right. I mean, you did. Let's be honest.
thanks.
Oh yeah.
You, you did. All
Nice.
right. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
well, let's change the background to something a little bit more pleasant. We'll just do Rune. We haven't looked at the map of Rune in a while. There we go. Good old Rune. And we'll take the little squiddies away. They don't need to be here. They don't need to be that far off.
Shit.
There you go. There you go. All right, so Ben,
Yes.
you find yourself floating high in the sky, and you're on the terrain below you is foreign to you. The ground bends and twists, and comes to these curled-like spires that seemingly jut out with thorn. Uh, there's flowing rivers that you can see, but instead of liquid, it is very dense gases cascading and rolling slowly over one another. You turn and look at the sky, and the sky is perfectly pitch black. But amongst that canvas of utter darkness, there are stars so clear that you could get lost counting the nearly countless rays of light coming from them. Can I get a perception check from you?
Am I still Planetar or Benatar or am I Ben?
You're just Ben right now.
Okay. And you said perception?
Yes. Not bad. 23 total. You hear the sounds of someone exerting themselves. Ha! Yeah! Ah! And it gets your attention. What do you do?
Well, I guess I'm gonna go towards it.
You, seemingly as if, when you hear something and you want to walk to the sound, you do the same, except you find yourself just floating, going towards that sound. And you see an olive green skinned female. Green and white, long flowing hair. Ears coming to a point, adorned in simple, uh, elegant silver chain-like uh, clothing. And you see her wielding a beautiful silver-like blade uh, that in one aspect looks too large for her to be able to wield, but at the same time seems like it's an extension of her body because of how effortlessly she manages to stretch out and strike, coil the blade, imitate a parry. And as you're kind of getting immersed in this almost performative exertion, you realize it's somebody training. And as she whips the blade in the arcing sky, she makes contact with you. What do you do? She makes eye contact with you, excuse me.
Is she Gith?
She is Gith. There's a
I
sense
will.
of recognition with this one.
Okay. I will greet her in Gith. Do a customary warrior to warrior greeting.
And as you do, she smiles. She swings the blade back, and you see that it starts to retract into sections until it's nothing more than almost like a cane. And then the cane pops in, and she holds it, and then she motions, with her uh, the back of her hand facing you, waving you to come closer.
Okay. I do so.
As you do, she begins to hum a sweet, soft melody. And there's this rush of emotions and memory as you haven't heard this ever, but you've you know you've heard this at the same time. And as you approach, the ground below you is almost has like a mirrored like texture, and you're able to look down and see yourself. And you see yourself rapidly going from Ben to a younger adolescent Ben to a young child to an infant to the time you get within reach of this lady to a baby. And she grabs you and holds you close. She gives you a kiss on the head, and you feel the impression of the kiss. And you feel warm, comfort. And you close your eyes, sleeping. Do you want to tell everybody what you took?
Sure. I took the Arcane Initiate from the Arcane domain. So I got 2 cantrips and 10. Well, I'm able to prepare 10 wizard spells a day up to 5th level,
As if they're cleric spells.
as if they're cleric spells, yes.
All right. Now, James and or Ben, do you know who this lady was?
That's my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time she got to meet you face to face.
Yes.
All right. Davis,
Yo.
you're on stage.
Hell yeah.
There are torches and lights strewn about. The heavy scent of tavern, the booze, the food, the people, the rowdiness, the sweat. You have everyone hopping and jumping. You look around, and everyone is jovial. Everyone is having just possibly the best nights of their lives. What do you say as you just finished a piece and you're just about to, you know, take a moment to, you know, quench your thirst with the house ale?
Sure. Just be like, alright, everybody, keep it going. I'll be back in just a minute, but don't let the party stop without me. It's like, and I'll like be like, check out Orbis over there. He's doing some really sick stuff. I mean, so,
All right. So you hop off of the stage, look back, you see the silhouettes and the outlines of your companions, the rabble rousers, and possibly other groups that you've traveled with. But you don't see the details. That doesn't strike you. And you head over to the bar and you raise your hand, and they slide you over, house ale on, you know, on tap for the performers. And you sit there for a moment. Well, not sit there, but you kind of lean over there and take a good long glug. And it's the most delicious ale. Heck, it might be the most delicious beverage you've ever had in your life.
oh yeah.
And so you close your eyes and you then pull the mug away from you. The barkeep before you is shocking. They are translucent. You can see their skeleton, but their skeleton isn't bone. Their joints are motes of light, kind of like stars. And you see with your eyes light lines connecting these motes. And they don't say anything, but they move their hand. And you just see dots and lines begin to draw in the sky, resembling constellations. Can I get a charisma? Uh, what would be charisma? What would it be? Sorry, it would be one of your. Can I get your navigators check,
Okay.
please?
Using what stat?
Um, you can use your charisma for it
Okay.
because this is about you. Again, you were just performing. That works.
Alright. Yeah, not great. 16.
16, still not terrible. Yeah, not the best, but not terrible. You you start to follow what their, you know, the hand motions, and you kind of recognize some of it. One of it is, is a constellation uh, that you remember as a child when you would sneak out from the farmhouse at night and go lay in the fields just to, be under the stars and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the peace and the quiet. There's always this one constellation that it was maybe the first one you ever learned, and it just for you it was home. It kind of sparked your interest with the night sky at a young age, and you realized you had forgotten that you always had this passion for the stars. And then you realize that you've used it to your advantage with, your navigations and your travels. But this was like a kid collecting stamps or a kid collecting bugs. This was your little slice of joy and your little quirky collection. And you had fun being able to look and draw the night sky and put the pieces together. And as you kind of find yourself kind of lost in that gaze, the individual snaps before you, and when they snap, you see these sparks of exciting energy, this electricity, this unfathomable essence, and it gets your attention. And you turn around and you see those band members. They're the same. You can see their star-woven celestial or, cosmic constellation skeletons as they begin to perform. And the performance has been so great. Do you choose to join them on stage or do you choose to just sit there and watch?
At first, I would check myself. I would just be like, "Is what's happening?" And like, do I see? Am I the same as everybody else? Do I see through myself and all that?
Yeah, you look, and at first it's solid, and then you kind of blink, and then you start to see through your hand. And you turn around, look at your palm, just to confirm, yeah, you're able to see your star-lit constellation skeleton.
Then
And the more you focus on it, the less of Davis you see, and you start to just see yourself more and more as what the barkeeper is.
right.
Just
Uh, take a kind of close my eyes, take a deep breath, reopen them, start re-examining myself again, and then I'm gonna try and because having used stars and stuff for navigation or just
Mhm.
understanding of where things are in nature and things, I'm just gonna try and get a vibe from what I see in myself to see where I should basically go. Like, I not necessarily like a specific cardinal direction, just like what feels right after just taking
the
a look at
performance of a
myself.
lifetime.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, I
and
get
like what
you.
how that's reflected within me and what that tells me.
You look deep, you reflected in yourself, and somehow you're able to almost unravel yourself in your mind's eye, making yourself like spread out as if looking at a night sky. And you see a path, a journey that will defy anything a farm boy turned merchant marine, turned pirate, turned rabble rouser would ever imagine. You see a different group. You see some stars falling away, but some stars joining. And you see a singular point where yourself and some others are being drawn towards in this of a visual imagination of your interior night sky, your constellations. And it's time for you to stop performing.
Okay, then
It's
I'll.
time for you
Go ahead.
to, yeah, it's time for you to change the world, but change yourself first. And the only way you can do it is to drink one last ale here and leave the tavern.
Well,
So what?
that's what I'll do then. I'll
Okay.
smile, look at the band. If anybody looks over, even if it's the celestial form, still just kind of acknowledge them, encourage them, and move on.
And just like that, you don't even remember reaching for another ale, but it's there in your hand. You give it a good swig, and as you pull away from, looking at the interior of the large stein, we'll jump back to you later. You feel yourself, changed. Go ahead and tell the group what you took, even though I'm sure
Sure.
everyone knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. I got spells now, baby. No, so I mean, there's not that much choice for us, but for the warlord since it's a young class. But I dipped into the Magus Chief subclass, which makes me a third level caster. But since we're level 16, I've already got a good chunk of spells up to third level, and yeah.
You don't need. Cool. All right. Nice. All right. What other players do I have here tonight?
Caros.
Paris. All right. Carlos, you're the true mystery. I have no idea what you ended up taking, so we're just gonna have fun with this one. Paros.
Hmm.
What has Karos always wanted to be?
Oh, I think it depends on what part of his life you ask that question. When he
Alright.
was young, it was maybe to be um, a leader in his home,
Okay.
maybe a leader of one of uh, the groups that would help people navigate across the sea of grass.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, to follow in the footsteps of others. Um, then when he was a young adult. For a while, I think he would have just wanted to be normal again, to
Okay.
be able to go back to the way he was. And
Mhm.
then when he had the chance, he had felt that his old world seemed a bit smaller, a bit harder to fit into. And I think since he's been on this side of the sea, he's probably been seeking what he wants to become, kind of in the way that I'm sure everybody has felt as they get, there's the few folks out in the world that have the luck that they both have a strong dream to follow and actually have a chance at achieving it.
Yeah.
Not like the so many dreams of like little kids wanting to be an astronaut or a dinosaur.
Mhm.
So I think Karos would be hard pressed to tell you what he most wanted to be,
That's fine.
but I think subconsciously he probably most desires to
Hmm?
not be afraid, to be, despite all of the strength that he's had, the things he's overcome, especially in just recent times.
Mhm.
He's always been somebody who's given aid to other people, but not always had all the confidence to back it up. I think he desires to have certainty in that he is both making the right decisions, and when he has to defend those decisions, he's strong enough to bear the brunt of any backlash or burden that comes with it.
Wow, okay. I like that. So, for you then, it's strange because you find yourself walking in the sea of green, the expanding fields, the Pride Land, just walking. And give me a perception check or survival, your choice. Perception or survival.
Let's go survival.
13.
13.
It takes a while. You feel yourself walking and walking and walking. But after a while, you start to hear some blades of tall grass being bent and stepped on. And someone's been walking next to you the whole time. Not immediately next to you, but, within 10 feet of you. And you turn off of your path and turn into their path. And it's you, walking and walking and walking. Do you follow? Do you cut across and see if there's someone else? Or do you catch up to them and try to get their attention?
I think he tried to catch up, to call out.
As you call out, this older, grayer, slightly more scarred version of yourself. One eye, this vibrant blue, almost to the point where it's like effervescence comes off of it. The other eye destroyed, gone, missing, scarred over. Gives you a little bit of a smile, and you see that on that same side of his face where the eye is missing, the fang has been broken, the lip has been scarred. Gives you a nod, waits for you to catch up, and as you go to catch up to him, it steps towards you unexpectedly and scatters into hundreds of thousands of little uh, grass mites, little flying fly, little bugs that you might find in the fields, and just washes over you. And then you blink, kind of coughing it out, and then next thing you know, you just find yourself again walking and walking and walking in the fields. What do you do?
I think I would try to get my bearings, to
You have
figure out
okay.
where, what territory I'm in, what area of the Pride Lands,
hmm
the vast plains. Where am I? Like, am I find out if I am walking towards or away from where I grew up.
You
Try to
scan.
figure
Right.
out where I
I
am.
like it. All right. You scan as best as you can through the tall grasses, and you try your best to see some sort of landmark. But as many people will tell you when they get lost in a drift at sea that happen to survive, it's nothing but the same everywhere you look. You have never felt so lost and so small in a place that should be somewhat comforting and home to you. You can give me a perception check or a survival check again.
I'll go perception this time. I'm just trying to see anything, not even paying attention to the just looking for
Of course.
things, not
Great.
necessarily trying to look at the ground, at the nature around me.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. 24 was it?
Yeah.
24. So as you're looking, you're trying so hard to find something different, something that at least would give you some sort of clue where you are. And you see it. Some of the blades of grass are flowering. These beautiful, tiny blue buds. Not too different, though much, much smaller and much, much more spread out than what we would like in Texas call a bluebonnet state flower, but much smaller. And you approach this to try to think of where you are. And as you do, you then hear the footsteps of someone walking and the grass parting or being crunched and, moved aside. What do you do?
Is it ahead of me, behind me, like it
Coming,
going away, following me?
coming towards you, though not quickly, just kind of at a walking pace. You're able to listen with a 24. Shh, someone walking.
I turn back to try to see them.
As you turn and some of the grasses part and they split before you, it's you. Only this time, much younger. Hair and mane, hair, some of it braided, some of it with um, different types of trinkets and ornaments placed within your beautiful mane. Uh, Seemingly no damage, no scarring on your face and in your body, wearing simple cloths kind of draped over one shoulder, wrapped around your waist and parted down, with a little cane, just walking. And as you make eye contact with it, it makes uh, this Karos makes eye contact with you, and it does the same, just into thousands of little field insects washes over you. And as you do it again, this process will repeat over and over and over again. And you will see every imagination that you had of yourself from the day you remember plotting some sort of path for yourself to this very moment, and what that might mean for you. And eventually you are just tired. It has taken you what feels like a lifetime to make it to the last version of yourself. And that last version of yourself, the sea of green parts for an oasis of blue. There's no animals here, but as you approach this water still, you look, and in that reflection is you, looking back at you. You as you are, you as who you are, you as you. And as you maybe are a little bit lost and confused, your reflection lights up, its eyes glowing with that same effervescent energy that you saw in some of your incarnations or thoughts. Your mane glows wildly in the water, and you know you're on the right path. You chose the right life, and with that, you breathe a sigh and you start to feel tired, and you allow yourself to just lay down by the side of this pool of water. And with that, Karos, what feature did you take?
Karos will be gaining the Giant's Might.
Okay, alright, so you went with that one. Cool, 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 cool. Alright,
Not
well
giant
guys,
smite.
giant
Giant's
might.
might.
Giant's
Yeah,
Might.
well with that, unfortunately we don't have Rock and Pebble with us. Fortunately we don't have Cielo with us. So, can't necessarily do some of these walking. But as you guys come to strewn about, you went to the Court of Stars. Was that your location for the plane shift? Was that your anchor, I should ask? The sigils?
Yep, that's correct.
Unless Ben pulled a
It's
switcheroo on us.
yeah.
Uh,
Haha, bitches.
We're going to my home.
Mhm.
We're going to ninth level of hell.
Yeah.
oh, neat.
Yeah, the tiefling's like, sure.
AK, AKA Al's home.
Yeah.
It's about time.
So
Hey,
down
Dad.
Mummy, Daddy.
with that, you would have hoped that this anchor point would have been strong enough, familiar enough to take you where you needed to go. And you guys come to strewn about, spit out, ass over tea kettle, tumbling, and reaching for some sort of purchase to stop your falls. And can I get all of you to give me athletics checks to see if you're able to find something to grab on, hold on to, just stop this tumbling sensation, this
Am I
motion.
Ben or Benatar?
You are Ben.
Okay.
Okay.
30. Should I do one for rock?
Um, no,
Okay.
actually.
What about Marb and Cielo?
Marvin Cielo need to do it, yes.
I got Marb covered.
Kind of like a group check
I'll
just
do
to see how well
Cielo's.
y'all do. No, like, jeez. Don't mind me, a plus
Wait,
16 on this.
Cielo's trained in athletics? Well, shit.
Yeah, yes. Oh, Karos, your number would be slightly less your siphon
Oh
effect
yeah,
wouldn't
turn
work.
off. So we should turn off the shield too,
Ah.
right? I assume.
Turn off the shield. Yeah. Sorry, it wasn't a permanent siphon. So, but still really good rolls.
But
So,
Ben's
and
+2 is permanent, right?
yes, Ben's plus 2 is permanent. Because Ben, I will tell you, he could have rolled and he could have gotten a minus. Or he could have gotten a plus and a minus. It just happened to be that you rolled like the best result for him. Um,
That's what I'm talking about. I'm the shit. Thank you,
You weren't
Danny.
even here.
like I said, thank you, Danny. So to wrap this up soon, you guys find yourselves tumbling, hurled, thrown out of just almost the sky, and there is ground rapidly approaching you. And as you guys are tumbling and falling and scraping by, you guys just find and dig and just hope to grab onto something as you find yourselves, because everyone rolled pretty damn well. Lunlun can just, you know, once Lunlun gets her bearings, can choose to fly, hopefully. Um, but let me,
Hold on. How many people are around me?
I mean, it's
the
8. It's
group,
always 8 total if you count Lulu.
yeah.
So, but two people are on Loon, right?
True.
Well, they
Well,
were, but they were kicked off.
yeah.
Like everyone's tumbling and falling.
Okay, so me,
I need I need a
Cielo.
perception. This is difficult. I need you to give me a perception check so you can see who you can spot in
Okay.
this instance.
I imagine I find hold of something pretty fast with the net 20.
Yeah, that's funny. You either
Ooh, not one.
Womp
okay.
womp.
You are looking, Ben, and you are just your senses don't come to you quickly enough, and you're just boof, boof. You actually bang your face into the ground and just keep tumbling, but you manage to find purchase and grab on and hold, and you're grabbing onto vines and root and earth, and you see the only person you see is Davis, who grabbed himself and just instinctively reached out and grabbed the limp body of Rock because you rolled a
Nice.
natural 20. He didn't give it
Nice.
to you. Just, and then you see all your friends just grab on, grab on, grab on. And y'all are dangling as you hear the sounds of water rushing. And y'all are dangling off the side and almost on the bottom of an earth moat. Just all of you managing to catch yourselves and hold on and start the arduous climb, or however you want to do it. We'll find out next time because y'all might remember what's special about this place on the next session of Materia D&D. Likely not next week, but the following week. But we'll discuss and we'll see. So, before we cut this, just so I do not forget, because it's going to be a while, Allegretto, you are now able, because I don't want to forget this, your Mangler's Mask.
Oh.
If you are in the, if you are at 50% or more HP, so it's going to get more complicated because you have more brackets, you can willingly drop yourself. You can take, you just take damage. It's a no action required unless if we need to put an action on it right now, right? A no action required. You deal damage to yourself to drop yourself to the very top of the bottom bracket. This damage cannot be reduced. This damage cannot be mitigated. This damage cannot be transferred in any way. It is just damage to yourself. But the Mangler has allowed you to unlock his rage, his fury, his vengeance. But it hurts to do it. So, however you want to do it, you unlocked a feature on the Mangler's Mask. It's if you are at 50% or more HP, you can take damage equal to whatever that number needs to be to drop you to the top of the lowest bracket.
Which
So
would
you
be
can just
25%.
yes,
Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you're at 100%, you deal 75% damage to yourself.
Yep.
But
Okay.
you're full mangling at that point.
Yeah.
And since it's
Okay.
no
Okay.
action, theoretically, you could do it like, oh, I crit. Drop to 25%. Or no, so it has to be. It can't be like in the middle
No,
of
no, no.
stuff.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so it can't be like mid attack. You know what I mean?
Got
Like
it.
it needs to. That's
Between
the only like.
actions.
Restriction.
Yeah, that's like really the only restriction that I can think of. Like, you need to do it and then attack. You can't be like I attack and then do it. You know,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. You need to be in that state when you attack. Let's put it that way,
Fair. Fair. We usually see that key phrase of the after a roll, but before a result's been determined by the DM. Yada yada.
or something like
So
that. Yeah.
we don't get that this
And
one.
that
That's
does
cool.
also the only other thing. And again, this may change, but at least for now, if you get healing and it would take you out of the bottom bracket, you can choose to heal up to the top of your bottom bracket. So like, you're at 1 HP and someone heals you and it would heal you to 50%. What's this say? Right?
Mhm.
You can be like, nah, I'll just go to 25%.
Is that exclusive to the bottom bracket, or is that
Yeah,
any?
bottom bracket. No, the
I
bottom
guess
bracket.
it's only beneficial for the bottom bracket. Yeah.
Yeah. So if healing would take you outside of the bottom bracket, you can choose to reduce the said healing or whatever to stay within bottom bracket. Cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. Cool. That is it, guys. Enjoy your new chaos features. Um, None of the most recent chaos surges from the Hecaton fight are permanent. However, Davis, you are holding still a seemingly unconscious rock,
Yep.
and Cielo is just grasping for dear life onto Loon Loon as Loon Loon spreads her wings and just kind of gets ready to fly, possibly. So, guys, I hope you had fun. Thank you for your patience with the long break. I look forward to the insanity that, well, we'll continue marching forward.